Hi guys, it's Paul Pluta on the Paul Pluta channel. Today guys, I'm doing a paid review. This is 20JU76. This is for Lars. And before we do that, let's do a quick wristwatch check. I'm wearing a Patek Philippe 5127. White gold, Calatrava. Just absolutely delightful. This is from Lars. He goes, hello, I'm writing to you from the Kingdom of Denmark. Thank you very much there. Where Her Majesty is also an old lady, but our colonies are kept in check. I am in great need of your guidance, considerable life experience and immense expertise in a dilemma I've been struggling with over the past few weeks. I will turn 30 years old and I figure the time was overdue for a proper watch. Wristwatch. Yes, I certainly do agree. I'm looking to have just one watch for now, and which I could enjoy every day. What a great concept. The one and done. I'm looking at the Omega Sea Meister Diver 300 meter 2018 model. The Tudor Black Bay GMT. I like the understated look of the Tudor, but the Sea Master just seems to be much more watch for the money. Price is not really the problem, but I could not wear a Submariner at the office. Law of Gent. Please guide me and continue making great vids. Stay safe and corona free. Yours sincerely, Lars. Well, Lars, you've come to the right place. Lars, I don't understand what is your problem. You reckon money's not a problem. What a great line to use. Do you mind if I use it at the club? Lars, you're looking at a Seamaster Diver 300 or a Tudor Black Bay. Lars, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I don't understand what you mean, law of Gent. What exactly do you mean with that? What the hell is Gent? What the hell? Okie dokie. Look, I tell you honestly, man, this is an interesting question. He's 30 years old, okay? So 30 is starting to, you're young enough to be handsome, but old enough to have a bit of wisdom. You've got a little bit of money behind you. And I can see, Lars, you seem to have a bit of an ego. Now, I immediately came back to him and said, can you stretch to a Rolex? And he said, I indeed can. Well, Lars, let's be totally honest there. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be a difficult entertainer. But the honest truth is, Lars, is that the Seamaster Omega and the Tudor, they are for kennel heads. Kennel heads. Oh, oh, oh! Kennel head. Kennel heads who can't afford Rolex. See, Lars, every man at age of 30, if you can't afford a Patek Philippe, you really should get a Rolex. I mean, Lars, come on there. You guys in Denmark, didn't you invent the Volvo? Or that was Sweden. Well, they're kind of your Nordic neighbors. The Volvo, Saab, and IKEA. So, Lars, let me tell you a few things there. Every man in his 30s needs a Rolex. And I agree, the Submariner could be a little bit off-putting. It could certainly be a little bit off-putting. And I understand the resistance. I do understand why you would say no. You don't want to show off in the office. Well, Lars, it's time for you to wake up. It's time for you to realize the wristwatch you wear doesn't really influence your career. It's time for you to realize just because you may drive a brand new, beautiful CX-90 Volvo, it doesn't make you a stud at the nightclub. So, Lars, let me tell you this. You got to buy something that you really like. I got to be honest with you, a 30-year-old guy, would I get a Submariner? I got to be honest with you, the Submariner is so passé. It's so passé, it's just wannabe. I kind of think it's a watch you'd buy once you got a few Rolex under your belt. I would say, you know what I reckon a great watch for a 30-year-old man is? I would seriously say to you, let's go no date Steel Sports Rolex. We would go Explorer 1 39mm, Air King 40mm, and we'd also go for Milgauss. I reckon one of those three would be absolutely perfect because they're Rolex, please. They are Rolex, but they're not kind of like Submariner in your face. Rolex, man. They're not Pepsi in your face. They're not Batman or Batgirl. They're not Panda. They're not, they're just not Daytona offensive. They're no date Rolex. And the best thing is if anyone says to at work, hey, Lars, Untag Rolex? You can say, yes, it's a Rolex. It was given to me by a relative. I believe they're expensive. I think they're about $500. That's what you say, Lars. Play it cool like a cucumber. Rolex for you is the way to go. Forget this Seamaster. I gotta be totally honest with you. A 30-year-old man who wears a Seamaster, he's a loser. Loser. That's correct. Loser germs. The Tudor is a good piece, but I would say no. No. Tudor is for, hipsters, 25-year-olds, you're 30. Get the Rolex. Get the Milgauss. I reckon a Milgauss. You could go pre-owned, you could go new. Would I? Now, I got to tell you, Lars, I'd even say to you, if you're a little bit struggling there, and I think your bravado is probably a little bit more than the reality, I would also say to you, Lars, maybe an Oyster Perpetual. A big size Oyster Perpetual would be winner chicken dinner. Forget the older Rolexes. That's kind of grandpa type territory. You're a young, hip Danish. You're Danish. Very young, hip, happening. Hey, man! I'd get the Rolex. Get a Rolex. Just be proud of it. Your watch doesn't make you a star at work. It doesn't make you a dud. It's just a wristwatch. Enjoy a quality watch. You're 30 years old. 30 years old. Just get the watch, enjoy it, and love it. Don't worry about other people. What are they going to say? This is just too much psychoanalyzing, man. It's given me a headache. 30-year-old man, get a Rolex. One and done, get a Rolex. Now, the only exception to this rule, of course, is if you are significantly well endowed to get a Patek Philippe. That is even better. But I don't think you're cool enough to pull off a Patek. I think get the Rolex. That's enough. Get the Rolex and get a 740 GLE Volvo. The last rear-wheel drive boxy proper Volvo. I reckon that's what I'd get. 740 and 850. No, I'd get the 740 Turbo. 740 GLE Turbo. That's what I'd get. Get the Volvo, man. Get the Volvo. I'd do that, man. It'd be so cool. Get the Rolex. Winners choose Rolex. Losers get Seamasters because they can't afford Rolex. And losers buy Tudor. Winner chicken dinner. Once you've got a Rolex, then you could get a Tudor as a supplementary. But at the moment, I gotta tell you, man, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Get the Rolex. Get the Rolex. Get the Rolex. You'll thank me for it. You'll love me for it. You will love me long time. Just do it, man. Do it, do it, do it. I do it with you. That's right, guys. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and don't forget, I can't survive on Google Ads alone. These paid reviews keep me full-time on the tubes. Remember, guys, without your support, I would sink, I would die, I would just not survive. Paid reviews, $50 US. I'll tell you what I think. Tell me what you think. $50 US. Send me a paid review. PayPal to ArchieLuxury72@gmail.com. And send me pictures, send me the story, and I'll do a vid. Not too far behind. 2 weeks is usually the time there. I'm just catching up, getting into my mojo. I'm Archie Luxury. Tell me what you guys think of that. Thank you, Lars. I really appreciate your support. I thank you for asking me. And I want to tell you, winner, winner, get a Rolex!